This is Tate Art Museum at the Imperial Ancestral Temple, and this is also the venue for the exhibition of Anish Kapoor. Now, right behind me, that's the main hall where the ancient emperors commemorated their ancestors, or in a way communicated with their ancestors. So why did the artist choose this location for his first exhibition in China? What kind of conversation is he trying to build up between his works and his audience in China? Let's talk to Anish Kapoor. Anish Kapoor is a British sculptor, specializing in installation and conceptual art. Born in Bombay, India, Kapoor has lived and worked in the UK since the early 1970s. He was the first living artist to be granted a solo show at the Royal Academy of Art in London. Kapoor represented Britain at the Venice Biennale in 1990. The following year, he won the Turner Prize, and in 2002 he received the Unilever Commission for the Turbine Hall at Tate Modern in London. As one of the most influential sculptors of his generation, his notable public sculptures include Cloud Gate in Chicago's Millennium Park and ArcelorMittal Orbit, commissioned as a permanent artwork for London's Olympic Park and completed in 2012. Welcome to Beijing.
Thank you. Great pleasure to be here.
Yeah, welcome to Icon. This is the first time you're having the exhibition in China.
Yes, I did an exhibition a few years ago in a private gallery in Beijing, which was a very nice experience. But this is the first public, full engagement.
On such huge scale.
On a big scale, indeed, yes. In three different venues, so yes. 3 different venues. Here and then CAFA. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And with this one, this is the Imperial Ancestral Temple.
Indeed.
Why this place?
Well, first of all, I'm deeply honored to be able to show my work here in 3 buildings. The central building and then 2 processional halls, in which one of them has works from the late 70s, early 80s, pigment works, look at questions about the object, about a kind of ritual object. The color red is central to my whole practice, and I feel that that has quite a strong connection both with China and, of course, with the site here of the temples. Then the other hall has a work called Angel, which is a group of blue painted stones that I hope feel as if they are floating. Again, a kind of connection with the Buddhist past that might be referred to in these temples. And then the central hall has a group of mirror works which are concave and in a way, of course, turn the world upside down, or illusory objects between painting and sculpture. It's as if you can't tell what the object is. That's what I'm after. My real purpose is this question about the status of the object itself and its relation to the viewer.
Feels a bit unreal because now this is upside down. This is like a series of distorting mirrors. This is upside down over there. The image has been distorted. Also, I feel a little bit dizzy sometimes. And this is also a funny one. On this side, on the other side, the effect, the reflection is totally different. Kind of feels unreal, looking at myself in the mirror. It's like almost the world has been twisted. I'm looking at the mirror, but I don't see myself. It's yeah, literally I'm gone. Yeah, I might be somewhere here in the corner, but if I look at myself and look at the mirror from this direction, I'm gone. I'm here and I'm gone. This is like more real. This is looking at a parallel world that I'm standing here because it's so crystal clear. It's almost there is another myself in a different world. It's interesting because I was just wondering in the main hall, looking at those mirrors,
yes.
And it's because if you consider this place,
yes.
This is the ancestral
yes.
temple. This is where, in ancient times, the
yes.
emperors
yes.
would talk to their ancestors in a way. The communication hall, and looking at those mirrors, it seems is unreal. I said to the camera, because you're kind of talking to yourself on the other side, but in a twisted way.
Yes.
And sometimes you can't see yourself.
Exactly. So you're talking to yourself upside down in a way.
Upside down too.
Upside down, yeah. So it's, and I think that's my real purpose. You know, I mean, to put it very, very simply, we think of ourselves, this is me.
The body, physical body.
The body, physically. But actually, if I close my eyes, this is not me. I'm much other. I'm much bigger. I have other space inside me. Mm. We all know this in different ways. And the question is whether the object itself can kind of induce that sense of another time, another place, before or after. That's the conversation you were just talking about. This thing about the ancestors. It's a kind of memory. It's a kind of absent but present thing. It's not gone. It's not there. It's actually physically there. So we engage in this as human beings. That's what being human is about, isn't it? At one level, this sense of othernesses. So I think art can engage with difficult questions like this, and must engage with difficult questions like this. And it's curious that it happens through physical presence, so through material. At the museum at CAFA, very, very big spaces with huge objects in them. I have 4 very, very big
installations.
Objects. Yeah, 4 big installations.
Anish Kapoor is known for his use of abstract biomorphic forms and his penchant for rich colors and polished surfaces. His intention, he says, is to promote self-reflection, which becomes most obvious through his use of mirrored surfaces.
那么在大殿里边的作品啊，是一共有6件不锈钢作品，其中呢，我最喜欢的是有一个叫做门这样一件作品。那么它也专门精心的选择了对应着这个大殿这个享殿的门这样的一个位置。那么当观众从他面前经过的时候，会感觉到不由自主的被吸到了这个门这个作品之前，你就有一种要穿越古今的这样的一种感受。
Kapoor's intention is for the viewer to become part of the sculpture. His philosophy is for his works to serve as a medium through which a conversation can take place.
这个我们也考虑到，在太庙艺术馆的展出呢，其实是体现了东西方的文化交流，还有一个就是 古今的一种对话。
Which use material, the waxy red kind of glutinous physical body material, in order to try to induce a sense of reverie, a kind of sense of dreaming. That's what I'm after, really.
We're not getting philosophical.
Why not?
But you were born in India, so it's understandable to be philosophical. So India is a country known for that.
Yes.
But you studied engineering, electrical engineering, to start with.
Well, initially, I thought, you know, like a good Indian boy, you can't be an artist.
I know. You didn't become a computer scientist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I went, a long time ago, went to study engineering.
Yeah.
But I didn't last long. I knew almost from the first day that it was not for me.
You knew it?
Yes. And I felt I had a bit of a crisis as a young person.
Identity crisis?
Yes, a young person does. And then I felt that I had to revise my thoughts, and I decided that I wanted to be an artist. My poor father was not so happy about this, but you know, we survived. We survived.
He didn't push you into computer science. That's a blessing already, right? Electrical engineering still, I mean, is part of the traditional route.
Yes.
But it seems, if you look at your career, it seems you taking different steps at different stages of your career. You started with that 1,000 names. You started with the paint, with the powder. So that's where your interest was, sculptures.
Yes, I knew more or less from the beginning when I went to art school that I wanted to make physical objects. You know, and I suppose it's instinctive, of course. It's instinctive. But from this conversation with objects, I realized that my real interest is in between what is real, so as I've been trying to say, what is real, what is physical, and what is not physical. There's something there.
So wait, is that a part of the influence of your roots in Indian culture?
It could be. It could be. I mean, let me put it in a slightly different way, to say that the world we live in is a world of objects which we can name. Every single thing in this room, we can name everything. We can,
table,
it has chair, shoes, you, me. Only in art, and really only in art, are there things which remain mysterious, where you can say, what is that? What is it nameable? Is it knowable? Is it can it be profoundly mysterious? And I feel that it is worth living a life to try and make one object that remains mysterious, to which we, as thinking, feeling beings, can go, huh? What am I looking at? Why is it? What is it? Why is it? Why is it art? Why is it of any interest? And I think if one can do that thing with a life, that's a life well spent.
Well, I mean, you couldn't have thought that deep when you were only like 17, 18 years old?
Of course not. Of course not.
So what did you have in your mind at the time when you wanted to express something?
Yeah, I mean, one never knows. You never know why you make decisions. At least I don't know why I make decisions.
It just happened.
You just follow an instinct, and follow an instinct with full determination. I mean, I'm sure you, in your career, had something very similar, where you made a decision and then you kind of go with it, because it is what unveils itself for you. So I made a decision to go to art school. I hadn't the faintest idea what that was about. You know, I was a young Indian boy in London, go to art school with huge nervousness, huge nervousness. But I suppose I felt I had no choice. I had to do it because it was there to do. I mean, I keep saying I have nothing to say as an artist. I talk too much, but I have nothing to say. So what this does is it acknowledges that the viewer is not just a participant, but a part
of the creation process.
Precisely. So it involves you in a creative act, which I think is very important.
So in the main hall, I just did that.
Exactly right.
Creating the art
Good.
together with you.
Bravo.
That makes me an artist too. Bravo to that.
Good.
To you, the form of the art, either in the sculpture, using the paint powder, using the redness, using, the form of installations, miniatures, or even massive sizes, does it mean any difference at all to you?
Well, of course, it depends on the condition of the matter, the condition of the material. You'll see, of course, at the museum in CAFA, there's some very, very big, very big objects. What I'm interested in is that moment of walking into the space and going, oh my God, look at the size of that thing. What is it? Why is it so big? What does it say? What does it mean? Oh, is it art? Oh, I'm not sure if it's art. All those kinds of funny questions.
Art.
Yeah. All those funny questions that then, what's really happening here? And it's that engagement that I'm interested in, obviously, that the work is trying to deal with. So it's, if you like, an open circle, and you as the viewer come and make the other half, and close the circle and say, that's how it works.
Another display of Kapoor's works at the Central Academy of Fine Arts features his 4 performative monumental installations. Wang Chunchen, Deputy Director of the CAFA Art Museum, is particularly excited by one of the pieces.
One work behind me is called My Red Homeland. As you know, this is a big clock. Some rolling arm can turn around this circle plate. It's made of steel for 1 hour. You can see the red wax to make the forms. And so people standing in front of such work, they can feel how time is flying away. What is our space can be reconstructed because of such rolling, timing, so on and so on. Of course, all these works is reassembled here in CAFA from UK. All the works put into the boxes and shipped to Beijing by sea. And in CAFA, also because CAFA is a bigger museum, because the space here is very open. So it's only here on his larger scale works can be shown.
The imposing pieces are reminiscent of Kapoor's famous public works. Yeah, I've seen the one in Chicago, the one
the bean.
Yeah, in the park next to the museum.
Yes.
I've also seen the one in the Olympic Park in London during the Olympics.
Yes, I see.
And I don't really, because I'm not really an artist, and I don't really remember that much. But these 2 objects I do remember when they mentioned it. I didn't make the connection with you, but I do remember seeing those sculptures, the installations,
sculptures,
and in the 2 places, probably that's part of the process you were talking about.
Yes, of course. Yes.
It's the process.
Yes.
It's the interaction that somehow made a mark. In my mind, maybe that also happened to a lot of people.
Good.
So, but how does it work? Again, forgive me if I'm asking some ignorant questions, but how does it work? I mean, especially for public art. Especially, it's not for the studios. It's not in a. How do you do? I mean, when you do public art, any difference at all?
Well, You know, public space, of course, is very, very, very important. We know this. You know, we are here next to Tiananmen Square,
Yeah.
which is probably one of the great public spaces of the world. So public space has a kind of magical quality. And why is it magical? It's magical because people, you know, if we go outside here and go into the square, you see thousands and thousands of people come to visit, to try and wonder, what is this place? What is happening here? Public art, when it's really doing its job, can do something similar, which is to draw in a kind of, what are we looking at? What is this object? How big is it? Is it big or is it small? Is it, can I take a selfie? How do I engage? You know, a little boy or girl grabbing their mother or father's hand saying, come and see this, what's this? So that sense, if you like, of real engagement is part of what it means to make a public object in a space. So the object and the space are tied to each other. And I think this is a very, very, very important process.
But if you put it this way, art seems simple. And whatever we do, we encourage you to have the interaction. I want you to be engaged. But art is not that simple.
Not simple. It's not simple. This is very, very complicated. I'm putting it in simple language because how else to talk about it? How else to talk about it?
Yeah.
But it's not a simple question. It is, I mean, one hopes that it's a question that goes to the very core of our being, you know, asks very fundamental questions about a spiritual life, a physical life, our communal life, our relationship with each other. So all these things are part of this conversation.
So what kind of questions do you often ask yourself? Fundamental questions?
I mean, I feel that it's important, you know, science, we live in a world in which we believe that science can answer many, many, many questions.
Sure.
But science is good at most things. It's just not good at one thing, and that is consciousness. It's not good at saying, you know, who am I? Where do I come from? Where do I go to? So maybe artists can ask those questions, can ask questions, fundamental, essential questions about being. That's what it's worth doing. That's good enough for me. So perhaps those are very grand questions, but I think we must not be shy of them.
Those are indeed grand questions. I mean, those are the most fundamental questions the human beings ever ask themselves.
Quite right.
Well, that makes your job a very tough one.
Yep. But, you know, that's what we have to do.
It's never easy. Now I get it. It's never easy. But if you come back to the simple part, it seems to me that you have a little obsession about materials that you use.
I do.
Starting from the paint to the readiness. You were even polishing the mirrors in the main hall just now.
Correct.
So, why so important?
Well, because it's obviously that moment of physical engagement that can provoke little things that might ask maybe slightly bigger questions. I've worked with color a lot. I mean, I'm interested in color, not as a covering, not as some painted surface, as a fundamental essence. Because color is very strange. It's a kind of dreaming material. Color, especially as a pigment or as a, it's both physical and not physical. It's immersive. At least I use it in such a way as to try and envelop your whole spectrum visually. And in that sense, what I'm hoping is that it becomes a moment of kind of dreaming, in which, for a fraction, when you stand in front of art, one hopes that for a fraction of time, time becomes a little suspended. Time becomes a little longer, just like that.
Kapoor's inspiration is derived in part from the rich colors of India and his Eastern heritage. He uses saturated pigment and geometric shapes to create groupings of sculptures that are strikingly simplistic. At the CAFA Museum, red is definitely prominent.
这种红色的这种感染力会给大家带来巨大的一个想象空间，并且在印度呢，就是这个红色呢，也代表一种吉祥啊、美好啊，或者是这个让人去振奋，像这样的一个色彩的一个表达。我觉得他利用这个颜色呢，做出这4件作品来，然后给人们一个很强的一个震撼力。然后我们感受的作品也是从它的这个色彩里面能够感受到我们的一个这个精神上的一个含义。因为中国也是对红色来说也比较敏感，并且也到处是红色，对红色的理解也有它特殊的意义，比如说热烈，比如说喜庆的时候都要红色，是吧？然后美好，还有这种生命都会联系上这个红色。其实这个印度文化跟中国文化在某种程度上这种相通之处，也是中国观众对他的这个作品呢也产生巨大的兴趣。
Just as he does with scale, so also Kapoor uses color to provoke and inspire his audience. Color has that function.
Yes, color can have that function. And I'm saying mirroredness can have that function. And scale can have that function.
Talking about scale, I've also noticed that your early works tended to be smaller in scale, where now it's getting massive. We're seeing some exhibits of the miniatures of the big installations that you made for this exhibition, but they're getting massive.
Models, yes. I mean, most of what I make is still at human scale. Most, even today.
Yeah.
Most is at human scale. I have made some very big things, but that's part of making sculpture. You know, sculpture is about scale. It's about bigness, smallness, body scale.
If you're not asking the fundamental questions, that, is there a ultimate destination of your art, of your career? I don't know if that's a fair question to ask.
Of course not. Who knows what's happening in the future? You know, I hope just to carry on making my work and having opportunities like this wonderful one here to put things in a context in which they wouldn't otherwise be seen, and hope that it brings new meaning. I mean, that's the wonder of doing something in this site here at the ancestral temples, is that it brings a different spectrum. Just to be very simple about it, the mirror works, normally if they're seen in a white gallery, they're full of light. But here, they're full of darkness.
Different experience.
Yeah, in this dark room. And it's as if they have all these different blacks in them. I love that. So for me, that's a wholly, completely different experience.
Yeah, we certainly hope that you will come back to China more often, and we certainly hope that your exhibition, your works will help the viewers getting closer to the fundamental questions. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where are we?
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank you.